When you close your eyes and allow your breath to settle into an easy rhythm, imagine yourself walking slowly into a vast forest, a place where the air feels lighter, cooler, and fresher with every step you take. Science tells us that forests are more than just clusters of trees. They're living, breathing systems that create balance for our planet. In fact, trees act like enormous lungs, absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen, and the very oxygen filling your lungs as you drift into calmness may have once been created in a forest like this one. Think of the billions of leaves gently swaying above you, each one a tiny green factory quietly performing photosynthesis, transforming sunlight into nourishment, and in doing so, sharing life with the world. The forest floor is soft beneath your feet, blanketed with moss, fallen leaves, and hidden roots, and this softness is not only comforting but also vital. Layers of soil and organic matter are home to countless microbes that recycle nutrients, ensuring the cycle of life continues. As you picture yourself walking deeper, you might notice how quiet the world outside feels, and yet the silence is not empty. It hums with unseen life. Birds tuck themselves in high branches, insects whisper beneath bark, and even fungi are working invisibly beneath the ground, creating a web of connection that scientists call the Wood Wide Web. This underground network allows trees to communicate, share resources, and even warn one another of danger. Imagine that, while you are resting, the forest itself is engaged in a slow, steady conversation. This fact alone is enough to calm a restless mind, reminding you that cooperation and connection are part of nature's design. As the air fills with a faint earthy aroma of pine and damp soil, your body relaxes further. Research has shown that the scents released by trees, phytoncides, help reduce stress hormones in humans, lowering heart rates and blood pressure, gently guiding the body toward rest. Every breath you take here is a medicine of sorts, one that nature created long before humans studied it. Slowly, as you wander in thought, the forest begins to feel like a cradle of peace, holding you softly in its embrace. There is no rush here, no demands, only the reassuring knowledge that forests have existed for millions of years, persisting through storms and seasons, and they will continue to thrive quietly long after your dreams have begun tonight. As you step deeper into this dreamlike forest, your senses begin to notice the gentle layers of sound that unfold around you. At first, it might seem silent, but if you listen closely, you realize that the forest has its own music, a steady rhythm composed by nature itself. The whisper of wind moves softly through leaves, creating a delicate rustling, almost like pages of a book being turned slowly in a quiet library. Occasionally, you hear the distant call of a bird, echoing to the canopy like a lullaby carried on air. Scientists have studied these natural soundscapes and found that they do more than soothe our minds. They can actually help the body enter states of relaxation, lowering cortisol levels and easing anxiety. Imagine that each sound you hear, the creak of a branch, the murmur of a stream, the chorus of crickets, works together to create an invisible blanket of calmness, wrapping itself around you as you breathe steadily. Sound in the forest is never harsh or abrupt. It unfolds in layers, flowing naturally with no demand for attention, and this quality is precisely why your mind responds with peace. Unlike artificial noises in the city, sirens, engines, alarms, the forest soundscape is rhythmic and predictable, allowing your nervous system to rest. Research into sleep environments even shows that listening to nature sounds before bed improves sleep quality, lengthens deep sleep cycles, and encourages the body to release melatonin more efficiently. Now imagine yourself pausing by a stream, its waters flowing gently over smooth stones. The sound is rhythmic, like a soft repetition of syllables that never quite end. Water and forest together create one of the most powerful forms of natural white noise, blocking out distracting thoughts, guiding you deeper into serenity. As you kneel to touch the water, you notice its coolness, and you remember that forests are the source of nearly 2/3 of the fresh water on Earth. Every drop nourishes not only the trees and plants here, but entire ecosystems, rivers, lakes, and even the water you drink at home. With each detail you observe, your awareness drifts into wonder. How perfectly balanced this world is, how every sound, every drop, every leaf plays its part. The more you listen, the more you realize that the forest does not simply exist. It performs, it sings, it breathes, and it waits patiently for anyone willing to pause and be present. As this thought settles into your mind, you feel your body becoming lighter, your shoulders loosening, and your eyelids growing softer. The science and the sound blend seamlessly into one truth. Nature has always known how to comfort us, and tonight, its lullaby is meant just for you. As you continue wandering through the forest in your imagination, notice the way light begins to filter through the canopy above. Sunlight, softened by thousands of leaves, does not strike harshly here. Instead, it scatters into gentle beams, creating shifting patterns on the forest floor. Scientists call this phenomenon dappled light, and it is known to have a calming effect on the human mind. Unlike the uniform glare of artificial lighting, this natural play of light and shadow changes slowly, almost like a visual lullaby, encouraging your eyes to relax and your thoughts to slow down. In fact, studies in environmental psychology show that natural light patterns reduce eye strain, ease mental fatigue, and even synchronize our circadian rhythms, the body's internal clock that guides us into restful sleep. As you watch the golden rays move across moss and stone, you might think of how trees act as guardians of balance, moderating temperature by shielding the earth from direct heat during the day and preserving warmth at night. Forests, in their quiet wisdom, maintain harmony not just for themselves but for the countless creatures who find shelter beneath their branches. Picture the tiny insects resting in the shadows, the small mammals hiding in burrows, the birds perched just beyond your view, all of them benefiting from the gentle moderation of the canopy. And as you imagine this, you realize that you too are part of this harmony. The light, the shade, the air, and even the soil are offering you rest. Every ray of sunlight that passes through the green veil of leaves has traveled millions of miles from the heart of the sun, only to arrive here, transformed into a gentle glow that guides you deeper into relaxation. Forest light also nourishes life in hidden ways, fueling photosynthesis and giving plants the energy to grow, which in turn sustains entire ecosystems. Without this process, there would be no food chains, no shelter, and no life as we know it. To lie beneath these trees, then, is to rest beneath the very engines of life. As your thoughts drift across this understanding, notice how soft the imagery becomes. The leaves swaying above you, the beams of light drifting down, the forest shimmering like a living dream. The subtle beauty of light in the woods reminds you that not all illumination needs to be bright or overwhelming. Sometimes the most powerful comfort comes from gentleness, from the slow and patient glow of nature. Your breathing becomes even slower, calmer, as if syncing with the rhythm of the swaying branches. And with every exhale, you let go of tension, allowing the light of the forest to carry you a little further into peace. Now imagine pausing in the heart of the forest, where the air itself feels thick with life, almost as though you could see the breath of the trees drifting around you. Scientists have discovered that forest air is not ordinary air. It carries with it microscopic particles called phytoncides, natural oils released by trees and plants. These invisible gifts of the forest serve as protection for the trees, helping them fight off bacteria, fungi, and pests. But when humans breathe them in, they create a remarkable effect. Studies in Japan, where the practice of Shinrin-yoku or forest bathing has become well known, show that phytoncides lower stress hormones, boost immune cell activity, and create a profound sense of calm in the nervous system. With every slow inhale, imagine your body receiving this gentle medicine. Your heart rate softens, your blood pressure steadies, and your mind loosens its grip on the worries of the day. The very air of the forest is designed to soothe. Breathing here feels different from anywhere else. It is cooler, crisper, filled with moisture that nourishes the lungs. Forests create this refreshing environment by releasing water vapor, cooling the atmosphere, and recycling the air we depend on. In fact, scientists estimate that the Amazon rainforest alone produces 20% of the Earth's oxygen, a staggering reminder how forests quietly sustain life for billions of beings. As you breathe in and out, feel the comfort of knowing that every inhale connects you not only to the trees around you, but to the entire living system of the planet. The air becomes a thread weaving you into something larger, a reminder that your place in the world is supported by the vast, patient work of the forest. Even your thoughts begin to feel lighter, as though carried by this unseen current of clean oxygen, rising and falling with ease. If you listen closely, you may even imagine hearing the forest breathing with you, a slow exhale of oxygen as you inhale, and then a quiet intake of carbon dioxide as you release your breath. Together, you and the forest share this simple rhythm, partners in an endless cycle of life. This awareness, gentle and steady, brings you deeper into rest. For there is nothing more reassuring than knowing you are part of a larger pattern, one that has existed long before you and will continue long after. The forest does not rush. It simply breathes, grows, and sustains, and in its patience, you too find the space to let go. As you walk farther into the forest, you begin to notice the ground beneath your feet more closely, each step pressing softly into the living earth. The soil here is not just dirt. It is an entire universe of life, filled with organisms so small you could never see them, yet so important that without them, forests could not exist. Beneath the moss and fallen leaves lives an invisible world of fungi, bacteria, insects, and tiny roots, all working together to recycle nutrients and sustain the trees towering above. Scientists call this hidden network the microbiome of the soil, and within a handful of Earth there may be more living creatures than there are people on the entire planet. Every time a leaf falls or a branch decays, these unseen helpers break it down, transforming what has ended into nourishment for what will begin. In this way, the forest floor becomes a cradle of renewal, where death itself is transformed into life, silently, patiently, without effort. Imagine kneeling down and brushing her hand gently over the cool moss. The softness comes from centuries of this endless cycle, layer upon layer of organic matter turning into fertile ground. The moss cushions your touch like a natural carpet, damp and fragrant, releasing a faint earthy aroma that scientists say can improve mood and reduce stress simply through scent. The smell of soil after rain, known as petrichor, is produced by bacteria called actinomycetes, another hidden gift of the earth. This fragrance is universally calming, a signal of renewal and freshness that has comforted human beings for thousands of years. To know that such small organisms are quietly shaping the environment is humbling, and as you imagine them working, you feel your thoughts slow, your body grow heavier, and your mind release tension. There is no rush in the soil's work. It is steady, patient, eternal, just like the rest you are moving toward tonight. The ground beneath you is alive, yet silent, offering support without asking for anything in return. And as you walk, you carry this comfort with you, the reassurance that nature has already taken care of everything. All you need to do is trust, to step softly, and to allow the quiet processes of the forest to remind you that renewal is always possible. With every step, you sink a little deeper into calmness, just as roots sink into the soil, secure and steady. As you wander further into this peaceful woodland, notice how every tree around you stands tall, each one unique yet part of the same quiet community. Some trees are slender and young, their bark smooth and pale, while others are ancient, their trunks wide and weathered, marked by centuries of growth. Scientists often describe trees as living archives, for within their rings lies a record of time itself. Years of rain and drought, of storms and sunshine. Each tree carries a memory of its life, etched silently within its wood. Imagine the strength it takes to stand rooted in one place for hundreds, even thousands of years, reaching ever upward toward the light. Some of the oldest trees on Earth, like the bristlecone pines, have lived for nearly 5,000 years, their patience unmatched, their resilience unshaken. To think that a single tree has seen millennia of change is enough to quiet the restless hum of the human mind, reminding us how small our worries truly are against the backdrop of nature's vast endurance. Trees do not rush. They grow slowly, steadily, adding ring upon ring with each passing year. In their stillness lies wisdom. That life does not need to be hurried, that strength is built quietly over time. As you tilt your head back and gaze at the canopy above, you see how branches stretch outward like open arms, weaving together to form a living roof of green. This canopy is more than beautiful. It is essential, sheltering countless species of birds, insects, and mammals. Entire ecosystems depend on the shelter provided by trees, from the smallest ant crawling along the bark to the owl resting silently in the hollow of a trunk. Each tree is its own world, and together they create an interconnected sanctuary. The leaves, too, offer more than beauty. They filter sunlight, provide food, and release oxygen, renewing the very air you breathe. Imagine the gentle flutter of leaves in the breeze, a constant, soothing motion that signals both life and peace. Just standing among these giants can have measurable effects on the human body. lowering heart rate, improving focus, and calming the mind. Researchers studying forest therapy have found that people who spend time around trees report deeper relaxation and longer, more restorative sleep. It is as though trees are natural healers, offering comfort simply by existing. And tonight, as you picture yourself surrounded by them, you too are held in their quiet strength. With every breath, with every heartbeat, you are reminded that you are safe, supported, and gently cradled by this forest of patience and wisdom. Deeper still, the forest reveals its hidden waters, streams and rivers that weave like silver threads through the earth, nourishing everything they touch. Imagine the sound of a brook bubbling gently nearby, its voice soft and steady, a lullaby shaped by water meeting stone. Scientists tell us that forests are the source of most of the world's fresh water, filtering rainfall through layers of soil and root systems until it becomes clear and drinkable. Each droplet that slides down a leaf or trickles between pebbles carries with it a story of purification, a reminder of how the natural world sustains life without effort or complaint. The sound of running water is not only pleasant. It has been shown in studies to slow the brain's activity, encouraging patterns associated with rest and deep sleep. Perhaps that is why people so often fall asleep faster when listening to recordings of streams or rainfall. There is something eternal about water's rhythm, a constancy that reassures the heart. Picture the way the stream reflects the light filtering through the canopy above, tiny beams dancing on its ripples, shifting like fragments of stars brought down to earth. Forest and water are inseparable. Without trees to anchor the soil, rivers would dry or flood, ecosystems would collapse, and life as we know it would falter. Yet here, in your imagination, everything is balanced perfectly. The water flows at a steady pace, not too fast, not too slow, carried with it the promise of renewal. You may imagine cupping your hands to collect some of this crystal clear water, feeling its coolness against your skin before letting it slip away again. This fleeting touch is a lesson in itself. That beauty often lies in transience, in the passing moment. Even in its movement, water remains calm, teaching us that flow, not resistance, is a natural way. Forest animals gather here too, drawn by the same gentle stream. Deer lowering their heads to drink, birds fluttering along its banks, insects gliding over the surface. All life converges at the water's edge, united by its necessity. As you observe the scene in your mind, you feel yourself united with it too, a quiet participant in nature's harmony. The sound of water becomes softer and softer in your awareness, not disappearing but blending into the background of your thoughts, like the steady rhythm of your own breath. And in this harmony, water, forest, and air, you find your body sinking even deeper into calmness, your mind preparing itself for a soft drift of sleep. As twilight begins to settle over the forest, you notice how the atmosphere changes, softening with every passing moment. The light fades into hues of gold and violet, and the forest itself seems to exhale, slowing down as day gives way to night. Scientists have found that exposure to natural patterns of light, sunrise, daylight, sunset, helps synchronize the body's circadian rhythm, the internal clock that guides sleep and wake cycles. Unlike the harsh glow of screens or lamps, the forest light shifts gently, sending signals to your brain that it is time to rest. Imagine the sky above the canopy slowly deepening, stars beginning to reveal themselves in quiet succession, while the forest floor glows faintly with patches of bioluminescence from fireflies. These tiny creatures, blinking in the dusk, are not only mesmerizing to watch, but are also part of the forest's intricate communication system. Their glowing lights are signals to one another, a language of brightness and rhythm that humans can only marvel at. As you watch, you realize that even the smallest creatures here contribute beauty to the night. The sounds also shift with the coming darkness. Birds grow quiet, tucking themselves into nests while nocturnal voices take their place. The distant hoot of an owl, the soft chirp of crickets, and the occasional rustle of leaves as animals stir, together, they create a new lullaby, one designed for night. Studies show that these natural nighttime soundscapes have a profound calming effect on humans, gently masking disruptive noises and encouraging deeper stages of sleep. You might picture yourself lying on a soft patch of moss, gazing up to the branches as the stars appear one by one. The air is cooler now, crisp and refreshing, carrying the scent of pine and earth more strongly. Each breath seems to draw you deeper into the rhythm of rest. Forests are masters of transition, moving seamlessly between seasons, between day and night, between growth and stillness. And as the twilight wraps itself around you, you too feel held by this balance, reminded that sleep is simply another natural rhythm, one you are meant to enter with ease. The forest does not resist the night. It welcomes it, and in doing so, invites you to welcome sleep. You might picture yourself lying on a soft patch of moss, gazing up to the branches as the stars appear one by one. The air is cooler now, crisp and refreshing, carrying the scent of pine and earth more strongly. Each breath seems to draw you deeper into the rhythm of rest. Forests are masters of transition, moving seamlessly between seasons, between day and night, between growth and stillness. And as the twilight wraps itself around you, you too feel held by this balance, reminded that sleep is simply another natural rhythm, one you are meant to enter with ease. The forest does not resist the night. It welcomes it, and in doing so, invites you to welcome sleep. Each creature moves with purpose, yet in a rhythm that never disturbs the peacefulness around it. Scientists studying forests have found that observing nocturnal wildlife, even in imagination, can trigger a relaxation response in humans, as our brains attune to patterns of calm vigilance rather than anxiety. You might imagine sitting quietly on a log, listening to the forest breathe. The faint rustle of leaves, the whisper of the wind, and the distant trickle of the stream weaving its way through the trees. The soundscape of the forest at night is subtle, yet it carries an innate order, a rhythm that aligns with the heartbeat and breathing patterns of those willing to pause and listen. Fireflies flicker intermittently, tiny lanterns guiding your mind toward tranquility. Even the faintest movement in the shadows becomes part of the forest's gentle symphony, reminding you that life continues in harmony, without rush or tension. The forest teaches patience, not just in growth, but in the quiet unfolding of moments. As you immerse yourself in this nocturnal world, you feel layers of tension falling away, replaced by a sensation of weightless calm. Your thoughts drift like leaves on a stream, carried softly by the rhythm of the forest night. You realize that you are not alone here. You are part of an ancient cycle of life and rest, connected to every tree, every creature, every whispering sound. In this awareness, the mind and body are readying themselves for the deepest stages of sleep, soothed by the forest's quiet wisdom. As you settle deeper into forest embrace, the night wraps around you like a soft, warm blanket, and every sound, every scent, every gentle shift in the air guides you closer to sleep. The canopy above, dark yet alive, shelters countless stars, their light twinkling faintly through the leaves, connecting you to the vastness of the universe beyond. Scientists have discovered that exposure to natural environments like forests, even in imagination, reduces mental fatigue, encourages mindfulness, and promotes relaxation by activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which governs rest and recovery. Imagine lying on a bed of soft moss, feeling the gentle contours of the earth beneath you. Each small rise and dip a reminder of the forest's patience, its slow, deliberate creation over centuries. Every breath you take is cool, rich with oxygen, carrying phytoncides and the faint sweetness of pine and earth, calming your heart, easing your mind. Around you, the forest breathes in quiet rhythm. The slow rustle of leaves, the soft murmur of distant water, the occasional whisper of a nocturnal animal, all forming a symphony of calm that encourages your own body to synchronize with its pace. In this moment, the boundaries between you and the forest dissolve. You are not merely a visitor. You are part of the living system, moving in tandem with its rhythms, resting as it rests, breathing as it breathes. Studies in environmental psychology have found that imagining such immersive natural experiences can lower blood pressure, decrease heart rate, and enhance overall feelings of well-being, preparing the body and mind for restorative sleep. As your eyelids grow heavier, the sound of the forest fade gently into a soft, steady background, like a lullaby that never ends, a reminder that the world is safe, steady, and enduring. You feel the tension of the day dissolve completely, replaced by a profound sense of calm, as though the forest itself is cradling you in its ancient arms. Time loses meaning here. The cycles of day and night, life and rest, blend into one eternal moment of serenity. Every leaf, every branch, every whispering sound reminds you that you are part of a greater harmony, a pattern that has existed for millennia and will continue long after this night. With each breath, with each heartbeat, you sink further into ease, surrendering fully to the rhythm of the forest. And as sleep begins to claim you gently, you carry with you the memory of the forest's wisdom, its patience, its stillness, its quiet, life-affirming beauty. Tonight, as you drift into dreams, the forest remains around you, a steadfast guardian of calm, a lullaby of science and nature intertwined, guiding you into the deepest, most restorative rest.